The hidden history of Dean Martin is a story rarely told in full. Long before he was a household name, he was born Dino Paul Crocetti on June 7, 1917, in the town of Steubenville, Ohio. As the child of Italian immigrants, his father, Gaetano, was a local barber, and his mother, Angela, managed the home. Dino grew up in a household where Italian was the primary language. In fact, he didn't even master English until he started grade school. This immigrant foundation gave him a unique perspective on the American dream and gifted him with a quiet, outsider's confidence. That trademark, cool, he eventually perfected wasn't just natural talent. It was a shield forged from early years of adaptation and grit. His path to the top was anything but easy. Leaving school at 16, he survived the Great Depression by taking whatever work he could find, from laboring in steel mills and pumping gas to dealing cards in back-alley casinos. He even stepped into the boxing ring for a time, fighting under the pseudonym Kid Crocetti. These rough-and-tumble years gave him a street-smart edge that defined his future persona, the man who had seen the world's gritty underside but chose to greet it with a grin and a glass. Eventually, the allure of the stage pulled him toward music. Taking cues from idols like Bing Crosby, he rebranded himself as Dean Martin and started working the club and radio circuit. His voice was a revelation, smooth, warm, and remarkably controlled. While others relied on high drama, Dean sang like he was whispering a secret to a friend, creating an intimate connection that became his calling card. The trajectory of his life shifted forever in 1946 when he teamed up with a young comic named Jerry Lewis. This duo would go on to become an absolute juggernaut in the entertainment world, with Dean playing the sophisticated straight man to Jerry's chaotic physical comedy. They ruled every medium they touched, from packed nightclubs to the silver screen, yet the chemistry the public adored masked a growing rift behind the scenes. Creative clashes and personality gaps eventually tore them apart in 1956, leaving many to wonder if Dean could survive on his own. He proved the skeptics wrong by pivoting into serious acting. His role in 1958's The Young Lions alongside titans like Marlon Brando revealed a depth no one knew he possessed. This success turned him into a versatile powerhouse, leading to legendary turns in westerns like Rio Bravo and various romantic leads. Simultaneously, his recording career exploded. He became a titan of the charts with hits like That's Amore and Volare. In a stunning display of staying power, his 1964 hit Everybody Loves Somebody actually bumped the Beatles from the #1 spot, proving that his classic style could hold its own even during the British invasion. During this era, Dean became a cornerstone of the infamous Rat Pack, alongside Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. He helped turn Las Vegas into the epicenter of cool, blending high-class music with irreverent, improvised comedy. It was here that his lovable drunk persona was solidified, the man who looked like he'd just stepped out of a lounge with a drink in hand. While many thought he was actually tipsy, it was largely a brilliant bit of theater designed to make his incredible talent look effortless. This mastery of the easy life was best showcased on The Dean Martin Show, which ran for nearly a decade starting in 1965. His relaxed style and quick wit made him a television icon, though his casual demeanor hid a very disciplined professional who knew exactly how to command a room. Even in the 1980s, he proved he still had the magic touch, joining the ensemble casts of the Cannonball Run films. Though critics didn't always love the movies, audiences couldn't get enough of his timeless charm. He even kept up with the times by filming a music video for MTV, directed by his son Rixai, showing a legendary artist still willing to evolve and share a personal moment with his fans. However, behind the tuxedo and the hits lay a personal life filled with both deep devotion and significant pain. Dean's journey through 3 marriages reflected a man constantly searching for a balance between his public image and his private heart. His first marriage to Elizabeth Ann MacDonald in 1941 saw him through the early struggles of his career and brought 4 children into the world. But as the spotlight grew brighter, the marriage fractured, ending in 1949. That same year, he wed Jean Beager, a union that would last 24 years and produce 3 more children. Jean was his rock during his most successful years, but even this foundational relationship eventually reached its breaking point in 1973. A brief third marriage to Catherine Hahn followed shortly after, but it lasted less than 3 years. To the world, he was the guy without a care, but those who knew him saw a man who used his cool as a fortress. Growing up in the shadow of the Depression had left him with an emotional reserve he couldn't quite break. He often avoided confrontation, preferring to walk away rather than deal with the messy reality of feelings. Perhaps the most misunderstood part of his legend was his relationship with alcohol. While he famously joked about his drinking, much of what he held on stage was actually apple juice. Yet, in private, he did lean on drink to numb the pressures of fame and the difficulty of connecting with those he loved. He was a father of 8 who often felt unreachable, admitting he simply wasn't built for emotional heavy lifting. The true breaking point came in 1987 when his son, Dean Paul Martin, died in a tragic aviation accident. The light inside Dean seemed to go out that day. The wit vanished, and the man who once lived for the stage retreated into the shadows. He once said, "You don't get over a loss like that, you just endure it." In his final years, he stepped away from the mask of the entertainer. He was a man who chose isolation over the exhaustion of performing a happiness he no longer felt. His long-standing bond with Sinatra also suffered as Dean's habit of retreating from conflict left him more alone than ever. The end of the road for the King of Cool began in 1993 with a diagnosis of lung cancer. In a final act of the independence that defined him, he refused surgery, choosing to face the end on his own terms. He spent his last years away from the cameras and the bright lights of the Strip. On Christmas Day in 1995, Dean Martin passed away in his home at the age of 78. As a tribute to his massive impact, the lights of Las Vegas were dimmed, a final salute to a man who helped build that city's legend. He was buried at Westwood Village Memorial Park, with an epitaph that echoed his greatest hit, "Everybody loves somebody sometime." It was a fitting final word for a man who gave so much of himself to the world while keeping his deepest struggles to himself. He remains a symbol of an era of effortless glamour, a voice that still resonates, and a human story of resilience, fame, and the quiet weight of a legendary life. Thanks so much for watching this look into the life of a true icon. If you enjoyed diving into the history of Dean Martin with us, make sure to hit that like button and let us know your favorite song of his in the comments below. We love hearing from you, so don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our next deep dive into the stories behind the legends. See you in the next one.